To all those above me that watch over me, to all of you, my fave parapeeps on this side of the veil, welcome. This is the Paranormal Ministry. I'm your host, Shawn Whittington. I'm a seminarian in the United States Old Catholic Church, and I'm coming to you live from my haunted house, my very haunted house. And let me see, it hasn't been quiet today. And yes, the dream catcher is spinning. And it is cold in here, and it's about 110 degrees outside. And I don't have AC on. So they're ready for my guest today. And I have a great guest, and I know that's why you all tuned in. She's in the green room. I'm going to bring her out really quickly here. But first, let's check the prayer urn. Carla S. from Nevada. Hi, Carla. Carla, you from Vegas? You didn't say. You just said Nevada. I heard you had COVID and are getting better. Thank you for asking. Yes, I did. And I still am struggling with some issues. It's been a month now, but that's neither here nor there. God bless you. Well, thank you for that. I have a family member also with COVID now and not doing well at all. Can you offer up a healing prayer? Oh, I most certainly will. And I've got a great one to do that. And please keep me posted, Carla, on how your loved one is doing. This is a beautiful one. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, amen. I offer up this prayer for Carla, her sick family member, and all her family. God our Father, source of all health, be near those who suffer in the time of weakness and pain. Relieve them of their burden and heal them, if it be your will. Give peaceful sleep to those who need rest for soul and body, and be with them in their hours of silence. Bless those who know not what another day will bring. Make them ready for whatever it may be, whether they must stand or sit or be confined. Grant them a strong spirit. Inspire with you and your love those who bring healing and care to the suffering. May they bestow your gifts of health and strength wherever they go. Grant this prayer through Christ our Lord. Amen. Carla, like I said, thank you for wishing me the best with my issues. And God bless you for your prayer request. And I will add you and your loved ones to my prayer list later. But keep me posted on that. Let's check the Paranormal Ministry mailbag. Oh, do I have anybody in there? I do. Billy from New York. Hi, Billy, New York. Okay. What would be your personal biggest don't when ghost hunting? That's a great question. And I do get that question a lot. And you know what? I'm going to hold on to this and also run it past my guest today. That's in her wheelhouse. But if I had to, if you're going to put my feet to the fire and make me choose one thing, it would have to be provoking. I don't provoke. If it's a regular haunt and it's a disembodied human spirit I'm dealing with, they're just people. They just don't have a body any longer. Be respectful. And if it's something a lot darker, more malevolent, God forbid, demonic, um, my presence is already provocation enough with these things. Why poke the bear? So I don't do religious provocation either. So there you have it. Thank you, Billy, from New York for the question. If there's anything you want to know about my wife and I and our ministry work, go to our website, www.ghost-b-gone.biz. If you go there to visit, a lot of cool things to see. But most importantly, if you can do it, brothers and sisters, I know times are tough, but if my wife and I, we don't charge for our ministry work, helping people with their paranormal issues. So if you're able to do so and you notice the donate button, click on and send my ministry in a small donation. I promise you it'll be appreciated from the bottom of our hearts. And trust me, we'll put it to good use. Don't leave, though, without navigating over to the page called The Introduction to Spiritual Warfare course/book On that page, you'll find the ghost store. Lots of cool things to buy in there if you go for that sort of stuff. And everything that's purchased on there, proceeds go to all the different charities that I support. Um, but scroll down past all of that, and you'll run into my new haunted autobiography, God, Ghosts, and the Paranormal Ministry. And I quote, scariest book I ever published. That was Annette Munich, owner of Stellium Books, my publisher. But don't let that scare you off of purchasing a copy. If you haven't done your good deed for the day yet, part of the proceeds of every sale of every copy of my book goes to support stjude.org, St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, Nevada, and the ASPCA. So it's a no brainer. You get to help some of the neediest children on the planet and the animals too. How cool is that? And it's a great time to get the first book and get all caught up because I just found out yesterday, a matter of fact, that God, Ghosts, and the Paranormal Ministry 2, the second book, is coming out this coming Memorial Day. So that is great news. So you get a chance to get all caught up. And my publisher happened to comment that the second book is even scarier than the first one. So God bless her. She dealt with her own uh, fair share of paranormal activity, just editing and publishing that second book in her home office there. So God bless her for hanging in there. But the first book's out now, been out. You can get it at Amazon a little cheaper, or you can get it autographed off of the website, and that comes to you in a beautiful house blessing kit. If you need a house blessing kit. Okay, scroll a little further down past the book, and you'll see the Introduction to Spiritual Warfare course. I offer a 12-week online college level course, Introduction to Spiritual Warfare. And this is a course that's perfect for all of you true warriors for Christ out there that feel a calling and a longing to want to have more knowledge when it comes to drawing your line in the sand, making a stand, circling the wagons, and putting up a good fight against, God forbid, true evil if it ever comes calling. That's the course for you. You can enroll there at the website in the course. And spring 2023 class is almost filled up, so if you're interested, now's the time to jump on that. If you want more information about the course before making that type of commitment, you can go to the Introduction to Spiritual Warfare course Facebook page and read a little bit more about it if you'd like to. Most importantly, please keep all of my past, current, and future students in your prayers. And all my students that graduate get a stunning diploma, certificate of completion suited for framing, along with some other blessed gifts that you can only get from yours truly. Okay, the reason why you all tuned in. I love her. I respect her. She's super cool. She is the founder of CCPI, Colorado Coalition of Paranormal Investigators, author, teacher, speaker, you name it. Please give a big paranormal ministry family welcome to the one and only Clarissa Vasquez.
And the crowd goes wild.
Can you feel? I just got goosebumps. I can feel it. They are going wild. I can feel. Well, when you and I talk about crowd, we're talking about the crowd we can't see. I'm telling you, I
Right.
got the goose. They're all excited. You're here.
Well, I
You
know
must have
the
sent your
ghosts in
ghost
your
here to
house.
hang out with mine.
Exactly. The ghosts in your house and the ghosts in my house they're all just going, yeah.
Howdy. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Are you
Okay,
feeling
listen.
better? I'm feeling better. So
You know what? My wife recovered. First of all, she's 16 years older than me, three-time cancer survivor, asthma,
mhm,
got
mhm,
COVID bad, bounced right back in about a week. Me, I get it. I test positive like 48 hours after she tested positive, and
mhm.
I had a really rough couple of weeks to where there were a couple of days there where I thought, am I going to have to go to the hospital? I was a little unsure, but um, I'm not testing positive any longer, but
Good.
I still feel funky. I'm still TMI, I know, but I'm still sneezing out brain matter, coughing up brain, chunks of
Uh,
lung.
lung
Cough I
butter.
can't get rid of. The doctor gave me some really strong cough medicine where if I'm on it during the day, I'm just a zombie. So I only take it at night. But I'm getting better. But people be careful out there. It's still out there, and you never
Mhm.
know how you're going to react to it. And it's some funky stuff. Even my producer and his wife, my co-producers, they had it bad. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's just funky stuff. I know you had it, but people have been reaching out to me all week since I announced you were coming on the show, wanting to know. They know you were in a bad accident. They want to know how you're doing and how the car's doing and all of that stuff.
So I'm recovering. I still have a lot of soft tissue damage in my neck and shoulders and upper back. Um, I'm not going to give a lot of details because there is a lawsuit pending. But the the other driver's insurance company was going to total my car, but we were very blessed a couple of years ago. The engine in my car um, just it seized, it failed, and it was under warranty. So we had a brand new engine put in that car just a couple years ago, which dramatically increased the value of my car, so it wasn't totaled after all. And so they're going to fix it. It'll be a month tomorrow since the accident, and I should have my car back next week, God willing, please. Because the rental car that they gave me, I'm not a big fan. But God was looking out for me, and it could have been a lot worse than what it was. So we're very blessed and very fortunate that that it wasn't worse than what it was, and that my car isn't totaled, and uh, everything is just um, lots of good things going on right now for us, despite the accidents and the illnesses and everything. Things are, doors are still being open for us, and so despite all of that, we consider ourselves very blessed right now.
Well, as soon as I heard, uh, you were
Hmm.
already on my prayer list for something else, but as soon as I heard you were
Hmm.
in the accident, I said a prayer for you, and I knew things would be okay. It might be a little bit of a struggle for a while, but God bless that everything's good and you're good. Um,
Yeah.
but I want to now flip the coin over to the good news. Something else I was praying for you for happened, and there's people must know you better than you think they know you, because that was another question people want to know. Want you to share your new good news.
Yeah. I actually got a new job. Uh,
Yoo-hoo!
yeah. The what you were praying for me about. I got the job. So my commute is going from 3 hours to about 25 minutes.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it's I still have 1 week left at my former job. Um, and from my front door to my office was 3 hours. And so this knocks it down to 25 minutes. And it's a slight pay cut, but when you factor in what I was spending on fuel, I'm actually going to make more money. So it's
See,
great.
see, I thought maybe what you were talking about is that, with your new job, you got like a jet car or something, and the commute that used to take you 3 hours and only takes like 25 minutes now. And
Oh,
since I know the area that you're at, I was thinking that's a little risky to be driving a car in those kind of, mountains and stuff.
right. Well, I have been for the last 7 years, and will be for the next week, commuting from Whitewater, Colorado, which is about 20 minutes south of Grand Junction, to Snowmass Village, Colorado, which is about 5 minutes from Aspen.
Oh, very
So
cool.
3 hours. And sorry, Fergus is just all up in my business right now. Can you say
Well,
hi,
that's
Fergus?
cool.
Yeah.
He
Um,
he can come by and visit my five cats outside too.
well, his brothers Duncan and Seamus may want to join him. So,
Everybody's welcome. At one time, I don't know why, out of everybody, well, these animals must know that my wife and I work with animals for a living when we're not
mhm.
doing ministry work. But at one time, we had like 15 cats living outside in our yard. So we had these carriers everywhere and bowls of water and food everywhere. And I don't think I've seen a rat or a mouse in my neighborhood in about 20 years, which is the
Wow.
good thing. But now we're just down to 5. They just kind of disappear.
Yeah.
I don't know if they go off somewhere to die or they find a better home or they get hit by a car somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah.
But now we just got 5 out there, which are like the main. They're the Fab
Mhm.
5, and they've been out there for a long time, and they know this is their home, and they take care of
We
each other and take care of our house, and it's cool.
just downsized. We had Fergus, Duncan, Seamus, Anya, Freya. So we had 11, 12. We had
Wow.
12. Yeah. But we just downsized. My calico Freya, she went to a different home. She actually bonded with the mother of a friend of mine, and after she weaned this last litter of 6 kittens that she had, and we found homes for all of them, Freya went to go live with our friend Lori. Um, and then we have Lobo, who's our outside kitty. But inside we've got Fergus, Duncan, Seamus, and Anya. So 4 inside, 1 outside.
You are a good person. You have a good heart, and I can tell that. And I'm sure they love you. I know you love them. This is something else that doesn't happen to me very often on the show. Um, to have a guest on, and I want to start by saying how proud I am of you, a guest on that recently graduated my online course. And not so much am I proud of you for that, and I'm going to try and get through this without getting emotional. Every
Head.
once in a while, people say something to you that uh, makes you realize why you do what it is you do. And you said something so wonderful to me after you finished the course that
Mm-hmm.
just meant the world to me. But I'm so proud of you for, I mean, first of all, you aced it. So, and I knew you would anyway. And you have another team member, Reverend Robbie, took the
Mm-hmm.
course too, and he passed. So God bless you both for doing that. And hopefully, what you learned in the course, you're able to take with you in this spiritual warfare, paranormal, whatever it is thing we do. And
Yeah.
hopefully, it will help you.
Yeah. Robbie and I have even discussed, you know, uh, you need to do a next level course. You've got the intro class. You need to do a next level or a master class or something,
Hmm.
because there's so much more, you know than
I'll tell
than
you
what.
what, it's funny you bring that
Mhm.
up because 2, 3 years ago there was a step up course, and it started delving a little more into the demonology and
Mhm.
um, not so much jumping into the deep end as far as exorcisms
Yeah.
go, but dealing with people with severe infestation and attachments and stuff. And what happened was um, it just started getting a little scary and a little dangerous
Mhm.
for some people that were taking that course were going out and trying to perform exorcisms, and some of them got in a lot of trouble. So I started worrying about that, and it was a tough decision to make, but that's a step up level. Of course, I took off for a while to try and regroup and see what I want to do with it. And I still get people all the time call me, want to take the course you just took. Before they say yes, they ask, "Am I going to learn how to do exorcisms?" And I know right then when they ask me that question, they're not going to take the
That's
course because I have to be honest with them and
Yeah.
tell them, "No, it's exactly what it says. It's Introduction to Spiritual Warfare. Exorcism is a completely different calling, and that's something you don't really teach online."
Right.
But I'm going to take your advice under consideration and think about what type of course, as far as a next level course in um,
Mhm.
that genre, if you will,
Right.
what that will entail. I'll have to give it some thought.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I'm
and
proud of
it's
you.
it's funny that you mentioned, things, happening, and people, wanting to do exorcisms and stuff like that. Within 2 weeks of Robbie and I, finishing the course and taking the test and passing and everything, we actually got called to a case that had it had, you know, it had already surpassed the infestation level and was onto, you know, oppression. It hadn't reached possession yet, but you know, Robbie and I were able to together, you know, use the tools, some of the tools that we had learned in your course, and combat that, and actually provide some relief to the person that was afflicted.
Oh, that's
And
great.
she's doing, praise God, she's doing great to this day.
Let me ask you a question here, Clarissa, and let me actually
Sure.
help out the Rev here, okay? Do me a favor and tell me, tell the people who are listening and watching this, what are some of the best things you learned from this course? Let's actually try to pump Shawn up a little bit and tell people a little bit about the course. What are some of the best things that you learned about this course, or from this course? Sorry.
So one of the big misnomers, when people think about demonic activity, they automatically think possession and exorcism, like the Rev was saying. And what a lot of people don't realize is that there's different levels. You know, there's infestation, oppression, obsession, possession. Um, there's several different levels before an exorcism is even considered. And so this course kind of helps you identify, um, you know, what the levels are, and, you know, what course of action is needed, because in not every case involves demonic activity, and not every demonic case, you know, requires an exorcism. So it really helps you learn to um, study and identify and differentiate with, you know, what you are potentially dealing with.
You know what I tried to do when I put the course together too, and you can tell me if I succeeded. I wanted it to be a course for everybody. You can be an atheist, you can be Jewish, you can be Catholic, you can be Christian, Muslim. You can be, you know, from any religious belief system, any walk of life, and the course should speak to you in the way that it's supposed to speak to you. Um, and It doesn't happen for everybody, but for some people, like with you, it meant the world to me to hear that it strengthened your faith and it
Mhm.
got you. You're seriously thinking about starting your own ministry, which
Mhm.
that's the greatest news for me. That's the greatest news.
I am on track to begin classes at Colorado Christian University in the fall to get my master's in divination.
Okay, looks like I have to
And
put you on the prayer list again for something else.
well, and my new job is actually working with at one of the local churches.
Oh, that's so
So
cool.
yeah, and I, you know, after I finished the class and realized what was happening, and you know, and you know, realized that this had really strengthened my faith. You know, I sat down, I wrote you the handwritten letter saying thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and snail mailed it to you. Uh, you know, just a, you know, my appreciation for, you know, yes, I paid for the class. You know, yes, you know, it took 12 weeks to, you know, read the materials, and the course materials. It's not easy. You know, some of those, um, you know, some of the language and the verbiage in there, you got to kind of, wait, what? Okay. But I spent 12 weeks with different colored highlighters and post-it flags, and, you know, taking copious amounts of notes, and, you know, and the biggest benefit I got from it, I mean, yes, I've got this beautiful certificate suitable for framing. Uh, I got this beautiful certificate, and the other, you know, wonderful gifts that you included with it. But the biggest thing I got out of it was, you know, my renewed relationship with with Jesus Christ. That is, and that's worth more than anything I ever could have paid for the class, and worth more than the time I spent studying, and, you know, reading and taking notes, and the time spent on the test. Worth it.
You're going to be so awesome in that college. I can't wait to see where that takes you. But enough about my stuff. I have your this. Okay, you know how people talk about coffee table books,
Yeah.
um, or books that are always within arm's reach.
Yes.
I have, like, if I could move my camera around, on the outskirts of my office here, it looks like the opening scene from the original Ghostbusters with all these books stacked up, like
I have
some
the same
spirit did it.
thing.
Because people send me books all the time, stuff. But on my desk right here are always books that, for some reason, I just like to keep close. And one
Mhm.
happens to be your book. I don't know if
Oh,
this is your newest one
it is.
or it's your newest one.
Yeah.
I love this book. And I'll tell you many reasons why I love it, but one of the main reasons is haunted roads and highways. They're spooky
Hmm.
and they're all over the place. So I guess what I want to ask you is talk to me about your inspiration for writing the book. And when you're all done, I want you to make sure you tell people how they can get it. But your inspiration for writing the book. And when I was looking through the book and reading some of the parts, I was thinking about how some of these most haunted towns, many investigators have talked about how, well, lots of things. So, some of them are near big bodies of water. Some have
Hmm.
just all of these um, railroad lines,
Hmm.
tracks, and many of them are on ley lines, yada, yada, yada. But most of these towns like that have some of the most legendary haunted roads and
Hmm.
highways around
Hmm.
them. And you hear about, I myself have a time or two seen a ghostly, I always call it hitchhiker. They weren't
Hmm.
right there trying to hitchhike like from
Right.
those ghosts in the haunted mansion, but I've seen some weird things out on the road.
Hmm.
They got the black-eyed children, you got haunted hitchhikers. Um, Talk to me about all that stuff and take your time. The show's yours.
So the book is called The Phantom Hitchhiker Project and America's Haunted Roadways. And what started this whole thing was back, oh gosh, I don't even remember how long ago it was. It was when I went to college the first time. Um, I was taking one of my English composition classes. Don't remember if it was Comp 1 or Comp 2. I think it was Comp 2. Um, but I had to write a massive research paper on any given topic. And um, my topic was investigation, or more specifically, ghostology or ghost hunting or afterlife research, whatever you want to call it, should be regarded as a legitimate form of scientific research. And Fergus, I love you. You're a pain. Um, and I could not find any um, journal articles or peer reviewed documentation to either support or rebut my thesis. I couldn't find anything out there. So I started conducting interviews. I talked to some of the biggest names in the business at the time, and this was right around 2010. So I was talking to people like Barry Fitzgerald, Lloyd Auerbach, um, some of the biggest names at the time, because Clarissa Vasquez wasn't a big name then, and I got a lot of pushback from it. One person told me that it's no more scientific than boiling an egg, or it can't be conducted scientifically because there's too many variables and no controls. So, being the stubborn Irish redhead that I am, I developed a research project called the Phantom Hitchhiker Project, that included a series of controls within a paranormal or ghost hunting research experiment. And the actual project proposal is in that book. So the original thesis paper that I wrote is in that book. And the original project parameter, the project and its parameters are in that book. The only thing I redacted was the name of my college instructor from the thesis paper. Um, so there's a series of controls implemented that include time, temperature, lunar phase, the locations. And what we did was we were going to these roadside locations where a vehicle accident had resulted in at least one human fatality. You see them all the time on the sides of the highway, the crosses marking a fatal accident. And so we were trying to see if those accidents produced a phenomena called geographic psychic trauma, or GPT. And it's the energy imprint left on an area or an object when something so tragic happens that you've got that massive energy expulsion and it leaves an imprint. And so we spent the better part of 10 years conducting this research. Yeah. And, if you want to know how it turned out, you got to buy and read the book.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
we discovered a lot of things, that not only were we discerning whether or not these roadside locations contain GPT and subsequent phantom hitchhikers. And pardon the dogs. I'm so sorry.
It's okay. That's okay.
There must be somebody in the driveway. The Chihuahuas are going nuts. Yeah, we also have 3 Chihuahuas and a cow. But not only were we able to discern whether or not these locations had GPT and subsequent phantom hitchhikers, but we were also contributing to the theories surrounding time, temperature, lunar phase, weather conditions, and the role that they do or don't play in paranormal activity. So it was something that, it took 10 years for us to finally say, okay, we have enough data. We're going to move on to something else.
Yeah.
And we have developed other research projects that we are currently working on that are scientific in nature. They do follow the scientific method. They do have controls in addition to the variables. And
I forgot how many I'm glad Zach's putting it up. I forgot how many books you had out. Oh my gosh. That's right. I have that other book. That's not the only book I have. The one on the far right there.
I don't see your new one on here though.
I don't believe Amazon has linked it to my author page yet.
Okay.
I have that other book.
That's good to know, because I've been sitting here going, if I'm wrong, this is going to make me look like a fool. But
no, yeah, and
I
Amazon
turned on the camera, and that's what makes me look like a fool.
Yeah. So. Yeah, Amazon needs to update the cover on Ghosts of the Heart too, because that's not the cover anymore. The latest edition has a purple cover. But yeah, Shawn, I think you do have
the one on the very top on the far right.
Psychosomatic pareidolia.
Yeah, I got that one too. I may have more. I think I might have the train one too. The Phantom Trains. I think I might have that one too.
Okay. Let me know which ones you don't have, and I'll send you a little care package.
I'm so proud of you. You're very good. Something jumped out at me what you were talking about. I'm going to ask your opinion on it.
Sure.
You talked about that some of these things happen and so much emotion and energy is burst out that it, like, you hear that term, puts an imprint on like the tapestry of time. And then usually when someone's talking like that, I know somewhere I'm probably going to hear the term residual. Do you feel there's a difference between, this is a two-parter, an actual real difference between residual and intelligent haunt? And the reason why I ask is I remember I went to this one place where they thought there was a residual going on, a huge mansion. They built a bomb shelter. It was built in the 50s, so they had a bomb shelter under their home, which eventually they turned into a bowling alley. But they saw this woman who looked just like a younger version of the female matriarch of the family that lived most of her adult life in the home till she died. But they would see her walk down the actual bowling lane across the bowling alley and up these stairs that led to a secret passageway into the bar on the second floor of the mansion. And everybody believed it was residual. I just had a weird hunch, and I went down there, and I'm walking down the bowling alley to come out, and I hear Sharon walking behind me,
Mhm.
And I thought I left Sharon upstairs. So I turned around to talk to Sharon, and I'm face to face with this woman. She looked so real that I really thought I was face to face with somebody that was in the home. And I was a little startled, so I didn't say anything. And we stared at each other, which to me felt like probably 5 minutes, but it was about probably 20 seconds. But we stared at each other, and I stepped out of the way, and she continued on. And then I followed her up the stairs. She, of course, didn't open the door into the bar. She just went through the wall, but I ended up
Walked
having
right
to
through.
open the passageway and go into the bar. Then I started just snapping photos, and I caught her going up in a reflection of a mirror in the ballroom. I caught her
Mhm.
going up a flight of stairs to the room that she had made into like a beauty salon.
Mhm.
So I debunked it from being a residual haunt to active
Right.
or
Mhm.
intelligent. So I wanted to ask you if you felt there was a difference and what that difference was, and if that's also tied into that research.
Yeah, it is tied into the research, and residual by its very definition, is that energy imprint. Um, and residual hauntings aren't really hauntings at all. It's again, it's an energy imprint left over. It's like a tire track in the mud. The vehicle is gone, the tire is gone, but the imprint remains, and it just keeps going. Um, and it's kind of sad if you want to put um, some emotion to it. That there is this energy that just keeps replaying the same thing over and over and over again, and we don't exactly know what causes it. Um, in the cases of GPT, geographic psychic trauma, we know that there was a traumatic sudden incident, like a death or some other instance of violence, um, that just left that sudden impact. Um, and so the instances where you've got a residual, there's no consciousness to it. They appear awake, but there's no consciousness to it. So it isn't even a case of they don't know they're dead, because there's nothing for them to know. There's no rationality anywhere in that. Whereas with an intelligent haunt, it is the spirit of the person. It's not just an energy imprint. It is that person's consciousness that is going and doing and interacting. Residuals will not interact with the living. Intelligent, can. They don't always, but they can. Um, and so, for you to come face to face with that for, good 20 seconds, that's, yeah, textbook intelligent haunting, because a residual wouldn't have acknowledged your existence. She would have walked right through you or past you or what have you, um, and just gone about her business. She wouldn't have stopped and made eye contact.
Very interesting. I might as well run that. I promised Billy I was going to run this question past you. Billy from New York sent me in that question. What would be your personal biggest don't when it comes to ghost hunting, ghost busting, paranormal investigating, all of the
Yeah,
above?
Billy, that is a great question. And I really think that, every researcher should be asked that question. Um, because I think 9 out of 10 of us will give the same answer. Um, and, the 10th one, those are the guys you see on TV. But 9 out of 10 will say the exact same thing you did, Rev, and do not provoke ever under any circumstances. Even if you're not dealing with a potentially demonic entity, even if you're dealing with um, an intelligent spirit, if that person doesn't know they're dead, you're making a potentially bad situation worse. By going in and say, how did you die? When did you die? You're dead, right? And, you know, treat the departed as you would treat the living.
Absolutely.
You know, there's no room in the paranormal field for Karens at all. The golden rule has got to apply. You know, if you or I were sitting in a room and someone, I'm not going to mention any names, but they wear a t-shirt that's about 2 sizes too small for them, and gets right in your face and says, you know, tell me your name. You're going to give them a one-fingered salute and be like, I'm not talking to you. You know,
I'm
but
glad you had a chance. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
but you know, if somebody comes up and says, you know, hi, what is your, you know, my name's Clarissa, what is your name? You're going to be more inclined to answer. And it's the same, it works the same way in the field of paranormal research. You know, you don't go in and provoke, show yourself. Yeah, no. You know, but you know, please, I mean you no harm. I mean you no disrespect. I just want to talk to you. I want to learn from you. You know, would you mind showing yourself to me so I know what you look like? You know, what do I look like to you? Let's start a dialogue.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You're going to be more inclined to
Absolutely.
get results.
I'm glad you got a chance to meet with Zach and his wife before the show started. All of you guys live in Colorado,
Mhm.
because you learned where they're at, and it was funny how you turned down so many cases from their area because you didn't know anybody in that area that had a team like them. So I'm glad that
Yeah.
hookup happened. But I remember the last time you and I talked about Colorado,
Mhm.
we were talking about you doing a Paracon. And I was even, my sister at the time, one of them, lived up there in
Mhm.
Eagle. And I was going to
Mhm.
make a special trip to go see her. I was going to go to the Stanley. I was going to go to your Paracon. And for some reason that didn't happen. But what's
COVID
going
happened.
on? Pardon?
COVID
Yeah,
happened.
absolutely. But what happened with what's happening now with CCPI, and do you have any really cool events planned in Colorado this
So
summer?
CCPI, yeah, the Colorado Coalition of Paranormal Investigators, and it's funny that Zach said we didn't even know you existed. We've been around since 2004, so we are one of the longest running teams in the state.
Actually,
And
that
we're
was Adrian who said that. I barely know I exist, so I
Yeah.
don't, I don't say things like that. But
yeah, but we serve Western Colorado and Eastern Utah. So anything from the Continental Divide West, you know, that's our primary um, service area. And you know, just in the month of April, you know, we have turned away so many cases from the Front Range. You know, and when I say the Front Range, I'm talking the Continental Divide East. So I'm talking, you know, Denver, Colorado Springs, Greeley, Loveland, Estes Park, you know, anything over there at the very western border of the Great Plains. Um, you know, that takes 4 or more hours for
yeah,
us to travel to.
Yeah.
And you know, and it's just not feasible for us to do that, you know, to travel that great distance, investigate, pack up and go home, you know, and then you know, additional visits, then we got to go back over there. Um, so we have been seeking a sister team of sorts um, to field cases to, and you know, we've got some pretty high standards. So you know, we don't work with just anybody. So I'm excited to talk to um, Zach and his wife, you know, to see if maybe we can form some kind of partnership because, you know, I've got 2 that I sent away in the last week
Wow.
um, that I can send over to them.
well, I'd like to. I just sent you a friend request on Facebook, and I noticed that one of the friends that we have in common is Mr. Nick Muley, and he's a
Mhm.
dear friend of ours. Just love that kid. My wife is actually on a show with him every Thursday night.
Oh,
So
cool.
him and he and Jeremy uh, uh, and they have a really great time. Let me ask you this: you're in Colorado, okay? What and Shawn, this is kind of funny that you bring this up because this is kind of a two-pronged question. what is the most exciting place you've been in Colorado? And what's the most overrated place you've been in Colorado? Because I'm going to say most overrated. Shawn mentioned it a minute ago.
Yep. And I'm going to agree with you.
You know, before you answer that question, I know he's talking about the Stanley.
Yep.
And I can't believe I didn't think about this before the show started, knowing where you were at. There's actually, and a lot of people don't know this, there's actually 2 real hotels that movie is based on. And they only filmed it at the Stanley because it turned out to be Stanley Kubrick loved that location. But the actual story, and it's true, King did stay there, but there's 2 other much older hotels that that story is based on, and I can't remember what those are. You can go online and pull up the 2 hotels the Shining is really based on, and you'll get these 2. They're both like one's a ski resort, and they're both may be ski resorts, and they're both up in the mountains. But these 2 other hotels are on my, and that's in another room too, are on a list of, I'm infatuated with haunted hotels, are on a list of locations I have to try to get to before I'm too old to do this any longer. And these 2 hotels are on the list above the Stanley. But now that we're talking about the Stanley, might as well put your 2 cents in on it and give us what you really feel about the Stanley, because Zach's right. I mean, you talk to people about Colorado, and that's the first location they always talk about.
Well, yeah, you talk to paranormal enthusiasts about Colorado, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Stanley Hotel." It's like, and actually, the Kubrick version of the movie was not filmed at the Stanley. It was filmed on a set in Hollywood. The Steven Weber version was filmed at the Stanley.
I loved that one, the TV miniseries one with Rebecca De Mornay as his wife.
Yep.
I cried at the end of that movie. The ending, and King said that was actually done more to the novel. Kubrick changed a lot, but that was a great movie. And having said that, I really enjoyed the recent sequel that was out, which also made me cry. Something Sleep, Doctor Sleep. There's a sequel to The Shining now.
Yeah.
With a famous English actor, and I think it's called Doctor Sleep.
I think you're right.
That is a good movie. That is really good movie. But yeah, you're right. The Stephen Webster miniseries is great. I have not seen The Pope's Exorcist yet. I plan to.
I saw it last Tuesday.
What'd you think?
Oh, it's wonderful. It's like Constantine meets The Exorcist. Yeah, I loved it.
Cool. I actually have. Is it around here somewhere? It's not in that stack. I actually have a couple of books by.
Do you have Father Mort's books?
I got one of them right here. I've got 2 or 3 in another room, but I got one here.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been following Father Amorth for a long time, many years before he finally passed away. But I plan to see that one. There's another one coming out this summer that is supposed to be really good too, that deals with demonic possession. And the name escapes me right now. It might even be out right now. It's like just a one-word thing, like Insidious, or it's not Insidious, but it's a one-word thing like that. And it's dealing with demonic possession, which is supposed to be really good. But I don't get out much, between my ministry work and the shows, and I'm in the seminary now, so it's just study classes all the time, and homework and stuff. And then the day job at the animal hospital, I really don't get out much, but I got to try to get to see that movie. If you give it a thumbs up, then I got to try to get there to see it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as soft as Constantine, but it's not as hard as The Exorcist, as far as the intensity of the movie, and the special effects and everything. There was no pea soup. There was one rotating head, but no pea soup. So it was really cool, and I'm actually excited to purchase and read some of Father Amort's books, because I've heard they're
Yeah,
very good.
they're eye opening, and it's like something comes over me when I'm working cases like that. People close to me tell me that something happens to me and I change. But when I'm not in that mode, whatever label you want to slap on that mode, and I'm reading works even from my Bishop Long, and works by Father Amorth, they almost make you not want to do what you do, because you
Right.
realize just how insignificant you are in the overall big scheme of things, and that you are just powerless. And if you aren't 100% sure in your faith and strong in your faith, uh, you better not be in this
Right.
field. Um, I love you. I respect you. Did you have fun when you come back?
Absolutely. Anytime.
I want to apologize for two reasons. I'm gonna say bye to you a little earlier than I normally do with my guests, because Zach has a very important announcement to make, and I do too. And I wasn't gonna make the announcement, but just this morning I had like 100 people. I kid you not, 100 people um, asked me why I haven't made the announcement yet. So I have an announcement to make too. But Zach has a really important show dealing with all kinds, just suicide in general, whether it's vets or young people, or just suicide in general, which worldwide, all age groups, all walks of life, is off the charts right now. He's got a wonderful show coming up next week dealing with that. And then I have an announcement, but I loved having you here. It's when I have people like you on the show, that's when I wish I had a 2-hour show. I know Zach's going, no, 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 no. But it's always a pleasure to speak with you. As soon as we're done today, as soon as we're done today, I'm going to get over to my calendar and then throw you some dates. It's probably going to be like 3 months out, because I'm always booked out about 3 months.
No problem.
But I'm going to throw you some dates. I got to have you back. Maybe you and Reverend Robbie together, and we'll just have like a really
you'll
nice.
love Reverend Robbie. He's a hoot.
Clarissa, I love you. Take care of them dogs and them cats. You have a wonderful, wonderful remain. I'm so glad you're doing better. Hang in there. You're on the prayer list. Have a wonderful remainder of your Friday evening and a great weekend. And I love you, and I'll talk to you soon.
Take care.
Bye-bye. And now I will give the floor to my co-producer, Zach, who has an important announcement to make.
Wow, I'm not used to being on the camera. I'm the most intrusive producer that you've ever had, I think. But
I love you. You know I love you. You and I have already been together how long?
It's been about a year and a half now, so it's been a day or two. I really enjoyed that, and being in Colorado, I cannot wait to hook up with Clarissa.
Oh, I can't wait to see what she sends you, and you guys collaborating together, and maybe the two of you guys can get together on events up there.
Yeah, that sounds great. Hey, Shawn, I want to thank you as always for letting me do this. The Pact channels are on Monday, starting at 11 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock in the morning Mountain, and of course 8 Pacific. We are starting a show with some great friends of mine, many of my business partners, about suicide. The true fact is, by the time that 2011 was over, we lost one person every 11 seconds to suicide. We all watch right now in the news. Every day we see somebody falls victim to a mental health problem, and many people fall with them. What we want to do is we want to talk to you, and we're inviting you to join us and introduce us to anybody that you know, or anybody that has anything to do with the mental health field, or offering support for people who are thinking about ending their life. Our mission, our vision, is to put together a database that someone can go to and find help right then and there. Look, the truth is, and this is the God's honest truth. When there's somebody who's having a problem and you walk away from that problem thinking, look, I can talk to him tomorrow and figure out the problem tomorrow. Truth is, there might not be a tomorrow. You need to make sure that you're taking care of people right away. And that's what we're trying to do with, and this is a working title for this Monday. We've got another title that we're going to announce, but Monday being May Day, we're using the title Mayday, We Have a Problem. Join us at communitypayitforward.us. Once again, that's communitypayitforward.us. And you can find out more. If you would like to contact me, and I'm going to type this in real quick here. You guys can send me a text or send me a phone call to 970-909-0751. If you know anybody who is working towards helping other people. Look, the truth is, and this is just, no matter how softly you walk, you leave footprints. Anybody who thinks that they can take their life and nobody's going to miss them, you're wrong. You're wrong. Somebody out there loves you. Somebody out there cares. And, with your help, we can make sure that we can find those people who care. So once again, Shawn, thank you very much. And just to let you know, right there is our podcasting channel. And that is my number. Send me a text if you would like to introduce us to people, because we're always looking to introduce these people to everyone. So thank you, Shawn.
You got it, brother. That's very important. And now my announcement. I think I'll start my announcement first with having Zach play something that.
Okay. Yep. This is a little long, but I think it's well worth it. And I think this is a fantastic way to kick off what we're going to be talking about. So here we go.
Evil is on the rise. Demons battle to possess our souls and drag us one step closer to hell. But now, there is a gathering of spiritual warriors who defend us against the devil's minions.
Go back to hell! St. Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle.
And unite to banish the demons in our midst.
This was the case that opened my eyes.
This 17-year-old girl was so distraught that she would do anything to talk to her dad one more time.
Disturbing things started happening. You could feel the presence. It was just terrifying.
We ended up having our very first demonic experience. It frightened me. It frightened me to the core.
Demons wait patiently for the ultimate checkmate, the rise of the Antichrist, which will lead to the final battle between good and evil. Until then, the spiritual warfare will continue. These are the true stories of the Legion of Exorcists.
There you go. That's the big announcement I've been sitting on for over a year, and I had like 100 people already this morning wanting to know why I haven't already made the announcement. So I am a key core cast member on that show. I feel blessed to be part of the project. I started that project before the pandemic, so it's so nice to finally see it come to fruition. Everybody involved put their blood, sweat, and tears into it. And so if you're into that genre and you go for that sort of thing, it's the real deal, and I hope you enjoy the show. And it premieres next month, Thursday night, June 1st at 10 p.m. on Travel Channel, Discovery Plus, and Max. And it'll be every Thursday night at 10 for the 6 weeks following that. It's a complete season 1, 6 episodes, which I am in every single episode. So I don't know, what were they thinking, right?
Well, and Shawn, I think the funny thing about it is that we were sitting there in August and October and November last year going, oh my God, it's coming. We know the announcement's going to wait. It got pushed. So
a year. They said it was going to be October. That was last, whenever that was. And then they said it was going to be October of 2023. And we were talking fall of 22. It was supposed to originally come out. Then they said October of 23. And then I just got the phone call from the director a couple of days ago that they bumped it up to June.
Well, let me be one of the first to congratulate you. And by the way, I need my autograph so I can try to sell it on eBay and make some money.
Okay. And we're running over a little bit here. So let me do another important thing. I always feel bad if I don't do this. From the bottom of my heart, thank Zach and Adrian Clayton, my co-producers, for putting up with me and producing my show, because I'm computer illiterate and I couldn't do it without them. CommunityPayItForward.us. You heard about that. Go there, buy something. Anything you buy there goes to help somebody that's really in need. The church I belong to, usocc.org, usocc.org. If you're interested in Bible study, which is every Wednesday and Sunday afternoons at 5 p.m. Pacific, or night prayer, which is every weeknight at 7 p.m. Pacific, you can go to bishopjameslong.com. Scroll down to the bottom of the homepage. The links to both of those are there. Thank you to, you can catch audio replays of my episodes on beinspiredradio.net, beinspiredradio.net on Saturdays. But go there, check that network out. That's Chicky Haw, the Rock Psychic, her radio network. She's got a lot of great shows there, so check that out. But thank you to Things Network. Thank you to Temple of Phoenix Rising Entertainment. Thank you to Skeleton Key Network. Thank you to Pact. Little P, capital ACT, Podcasting for All Coming Together channel, for all of these networks simulcasting my show. God bless them for that. It's bad joke time. I'm going to pull a bad joke that one of you sent in out of this haunted carnival barker hat. It's my poor attempt to put a smile on everybody's face before I say good night. What do you call a well-balanced horse? Stable. Good night, Jack. Good night, dog. Good night, Harold. Rest in peace. Good night, Ernie. Good night, Bill. Good night, Dan. I love you all. God bless you all. Peace.